Kindergartners, we have another letter for our ABC book. As you can see, we are going to be making a turtle, which actually I think it looks a lot to me like a tortoise, but a tortoise is a turtle, but a turtle is not always a tortoise. Okay, so as usual, you will need your scissors, you're going to need some sort of a glue, you're going to need your trash tray, and a fine black pen. Set the pen aside, we don't need it. I'm going to take my glue out and I'm going to set this aside. These are the papers that you should have. I'm showing them to you because there are a lot of papers that are the same size. I'm sorry, not the same size, the same color. And we have two very small rectangles. We're going to be needing both of them. So I'm going to pick these up. The first two that we're going to be using are the dark green rectangle and then the light green rectangle. So the dark green rectangle is our very first one, and this is the beginning of his shell. So I am going to do cut all four corners, and I'm going to magic cut it, so hopefully it will look a little bit like an oval, like a turtle's shell. And I'm going to put 4 glue dots on my tortoise's shell, and I'm going to, I did not tell you the Tortoise Fun Facts. So our fun facts, which by the way you can glue at the bottom: turtles are reptiles whose soft bodies are covered by a hard shell. And you can also glue your T's up in the corner. Okay, so now for the, and when you glue this, you're going to glue it in a diagonal. Okay, this is going to go in, whoops, I moved my thing just slightly. This is going to go in the middle of the dark green rectangle. Once again, cut all 4 corners and magic cut that. And this is going to go in the middle, and you want to make sure that you have some of the dark green showing around all around it, like that. Okay? Okay, now, you know what? I don't have my book. Shoot. Well, we'll just go by memory. Okay, so let's take our largest green rectangle, and we are going to fold this in half. Okay, these are going to be his legs, and we're going to cut it, so now it's 2 pieces. Now I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to cut his 2 legs. I'm going to cut 2 legs at a time, cut all 4 corners, and magic cut that so they look like ovals instead of having all those little points. If it's still together, when you open it up, cut it on the fold, and you might want to trim some of those points. Okay, so 2 legs. I'm going to cut the next 2 before I glue. Fold this in half, cut all 4 corners, magic cut that, open it up, and if it's still together, you can cut it apart on the fold. Okay, so, and then these 2 are going to come back here. So when I glue these on, I am going to slide them underneath as far as I can. Well, maybe not as far as I can, but underneath. the dark green shell and about where their legs would go. Okay, there we go. I have some glue right there. I'm going to pick that up just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to use our large green square, and I am going to cut all 4 corners and magic cut that also. This is going to be his head, and I'm going to glue that up here where his head is going to go. Some glue dots in the corners, slide that under the front, and now I have his head. Okay, so we are down to 3 pieces. Okay, and I want you to notice that this piece is the same width as this one, whereas this one's just a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and let's use this one. So the one that is the bigger, there's 2 small ones, and it's the bigger one of the 2 small ones. This is his tail. Okay, so we're going to fold it in half, like that, and then I am going to cut it on the diagonal from corner to corner. I am going to end up with 2 smaller triangles, and I should have 1 larger triangle. Okay, the large triangle is his tail. Put some glue dots on the back. Slide that underneath the dark green oval for his shell. And now the last piece that we have here, we're going to use both of these, and it's going to be for his shell. So I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to cut this one first. This will be all 4 corners, and magic cut that. Okay, and then I'm just going to set it down kind of right in the middle, and I'm not going to glue it yet. So this one is going to, so if you didn't figure it out, we're making the pattern that goes on the back of a tortoise shell or a turtle's shell. So I'm cut that into 2 pieces. And now I'm going to fold one of these in half and cut 2 at the same time. So cut all 4 corners. Looks like my trash is going everywhere. So did you know that when I was a little girl, I had 2 tortoises as pets? And the funny thing is, one of those tortoises is still alive. Yep. So let's see, that tortoise is 50, 60, that tortoise is going to be almost 70 years old in about 3 more years. He will be, or she will be 70 years old. So if you get a tortoise for a pet, you have to understand that they live a really long time. They can live up to 100 years. And one of the tortoises died last summer, which was really sad. Okay, and this one. Okay, so now we have all 5 of these pieces that we needed. Okay, so we are going to glue them in a pattern kind of like that. You can see the 5, so 1 in the middle and then 3 around the outside. You can see I set them around first before I glued them. Some glue dots. Make sure to get them around the edge and not just in the middle. And go ahead and glue the one in the middle. And then the last one. Okay, so now we are going to be using our special pen. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add eyes to our tortoise. One here and one here, because we're looking down at the top of the tortoise's shell that way. Okay, now I'm going to add, tortoises actually do kind of have claws, especially in their front legs. Their front legs, because they use these for digging. Every fall they start out, they want to hibernate, and so they dig a nice tunnel in the ground so they can hibernate. Okay, so these 5, if you've ever seen a tortoise shell, it has lots of lines. So we're going to trace around the outside of each of these pieces. Whoops, like that. Okay, and then we're going to make spirals. So I'm going to start in the middle, hopefully you can see me, and I'm going to make a spiral, and it's going to start out small and it's just going to keep getting bigger. So I'm going to do that to each one of these. Spiral in the middle, and then I just keep going around and keep getting bigger. Small in the middle, keep going around and around. Okay, so I think you can probably finish those last 2 yourself. You don't need to watch me. But when you get to the end, or right now, stop and write your name on the back so I know it's yours and I can get it in your book. Okay? So that is how you can make a tortoise, and I hope you enjoy the project.